What's going on, guys? So one of the first things you're going to want to do when you start your smart home is lighting controls. Maybe after thermostats. Thermostats might be the first thing you want to do. To me, the smart thermostat's one of the easiest things you can do to see those savings instantly. The next thing you're going to want to do is smart lighting. So a lot of people look to smart light bulbs, except for there's one huge problem with that, and that when you have smart light bulbs, the light switch has to be in the on position. So unless you're going to use your smartphone every single time to turn on and off the lights, that's not going to be a good solution, especially when you got multiple people or kids in the house. So that brings us to smart switches. So the question today is, what is the best Apple Homekit switch? So I have a couple of Apple Homekit switches here, and I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each one, and which one I like best, and which one worked for me. So the first one we'll talk about is the Elgato Eve light switch. Some of the cons is that they don't make a dimmable version. The control is it's a touch panel. It's not really a rocker switch that's touch sensitive. Limited app functionality. It's a single pole switch. It doesn't work in three-way configurations. Delayed performance. I had sometimes 3 to 5 seconds when using the app or Siri control. The other ones were very instant, very quick. Me personally, I've seen a lot of good reviews, but me personally, some delayed performance, and this is HomeKit only capable. The next one we have is the Koogek light switch. Some of the cons with this one is that it's a single pole version as well, but a huge issue for me was that it's only single gang box or single junction box only, where there's only one light switch all by itself, like the one on the right here. The reason for this is they have a proprietary faceplate that's a little bigger because this light switch sticks out a little further than the other ones. So you have to use their faceplate, and only works in single pole and single gang box configurations. It's HomeKit only, but they do make a dimmable version of this one. Next, we have the iDevices wall switch. They make a dimmable version and a non-dimmable version. This works in 3-way and 4-way configurations. And one of the best things about this is that it's compatible with multiple smart home platforms, including HomeKit, Alexa, and Google. So you're going to be a little more future-proof there, which is very nice, but you're also going to pay for it. These switches are $69 for Black Friday, but they're normally a $99 switch. So these are very expensive. You're paying for that extra capabilities with the different smart home platforms. So if you were going to use this in a living room that, say, had 3 light switches, it would cost you $300 to do just that living room set of switches. So very expensive, but it's a super cool switch. I'm going to put a link down below to a more in-depth review to another YouTuber, Andrew from IDB, who did a great review on this wall switch. But for me, just a little too expensive. The last one is the Leviton Decora Smart Switch. This is the one that I'm doing throughout my whole entire house. This is the clear winner to me. They make a dimmable version, a non-dimmable version. Works in 3-way configurations, and they also have a dummy version, I'll call it, which is a non-HomeKit compatible. So if you're doing a 3-way configuration with any other smart switch, you need to replace every single switch. So 2 or 3 or 4, depending however many you have. So with the Leviton Decora, they make a dummy version, where the dummy version is $15 to $20 is what I've seen. So you'll do your main primary switch, which you'll pay about $40 for, $35 to $40. And then you can buy a dummy version. So in my living room where I have 3 switches, I just bought the Leviton dimmer for about $35 and then 2 dummy switches for $15 each. So it cost me about $75. So that's a huge difference compared to the $300 it would have cost me with the iDevices. The drawback with this is that's HomeKit only. So you're wiring up switches that, if the HomeKit platform doesn't turn out to be what you think it is, or Alexa or Google take off a lot further in the smart home space, you are limited to HomeKit only. I should note too that Leviton does make a different version that is Alexa and Google required that has Z-Wave, but it doesn't have Z-Wave and HomeKit. You're either picking the HomeKit one or you're picking the Z-Wave one. So there is different versions, but the one I was looking at, since I'm doing HomeKit with my home, is HomeKit only. So if I had to rank them, I'd say the Leviton Decora Smart Switch is number 1 with the extra features and different styles that they have and the price point. iDevices would be number 2 if you can afford it, and followed by Koogek and Elgato Eve in 3rd and 4th place there, just because to be able to do a whole home, single pole is not going to cut it for most living rooms, kitchens, hallways, things like that. So it's only going to work in individual bedrooms. So that's not a whole home solution for either the Koogek or the Elgato Eve, where the iDevices and Leviton can be a whole home solution. I'll put a link at the end of the video to a more in-depth review I did on the Leviton Decora versus the Elgato Eve. I never ended up doing a review on the Koogek just because it didn't work in any switch in my house, being that single gang box only, and the iDevices one's a little too expensive. Alright guys, so those are the 4 main Apple HomeKit switches that we have as of late 2017. Apple has a full list. I'll leave a link down below of every Apple HomeKit product that you have if you're interested in doing more Apple HomeKit products. Please let me know what you think of the video. Leave a comment down below.